I'm not even going to do an intro.
Oh, yeah, you got to do an intro.
Oh, no. We're recording. Jed Finley.
What's up?
Mother effing truck winner.
Hey, I got as lucky as a man could be last night.
Here's the deal. We were going to, because I was going to try to come over before our Pro Sport truck hunt and do the circle points. I told you, I was like, I need to get that podcast done. We got swamped trying to get ready for this hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, we were busy. I even took off work. Wade was gracious enough to let me have a couple of days off. He knew we were getting ready for the Pro Sport hunt. We're trying to get dogs ready. We're trying to get hunters, places to stay, all that stuff. We're trying to get the food. We're trying to get the venue. We're trying to do everything perfect, and we just didn't have time to record it.
Right.
And now we get to record it after you won the truck with my dog.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So we're gonna do a regular circle point stuff, but first thing we're gonna do is talk about that. If anybody doesn't know, we just finished up with our first Pro Sport hunt that we participated in.
Yes, and to be honest with you, if it wasn't right up here in our backyard, I don't know. I mean
we haven't we've had opportunities to travel to them. They had one in Oklahoma, they had one in Arkansas. We just haven't went down there. It's not that we don't like the guys doing it or anything like that, but we're busy. We only take a few hunts a year.
Yep.
But, we talked about this before with PKC leash lock.
Yep.
And we don't want to spend big money, on high pro classic entries and be on a leash.
That's right.
Pro Sport gives us the opportunity to not be on a leash.
Yep.
So we contacted Greg, Scott, Levi, all them guys at Pro Sport and said, hey, instead of our pro classic, our normal pro classic, let's have a truck hunt that week. And I didn't know how it would go. You didn't know. I mean, we had a feeling it would go okay, but we were still pretty apprehensive. But once Strickland gave the Sportsmanship Speech, of all people.
Oh, my. That hit right at home for me, too.
It did, and then you blew the cast that night.
I give the cast my early round. I'm hunting shock, and, man, he looked as good as I could ask him to look. And right at the end of the hunt, I tree him with about 4 seconds left in the hunt. We all hear him locate, and he's sitting there locating. We Perryman, we got to go to his dog, so we go to Perryman's dog, and we're sitting there in Cheyenne. They're over there looking in this hole, and I'm sitting there. Hey, I'm going to start two on him. I can't hear him because you could hear him.
Yeah.
So I start two on him like, being a gentleman, being a sportsman, And two gets him.
Yep.
They pull that dog off out of that hole, get her quit barking at that hole. You can hear him every breath. I looked at Cheyenne and I go, ain't that some shit? He goes, hey, that was more than honest.
I wouldn't have done it.
I can tell you one thing. I sharpened my pencil after that cast.
They said, that's what they said. We got back to clubhouse. Like, man, Strickland's speech about sportsmanship really hit home with Jed. He's over there minding his own dog, putting the two on his own dog, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And the bad thing is, to put the two on him, we still need to go back to the last place we heard him. But I could hear him, and he was on the backside of a bluff, and it just, when he was on the bottom side of that tree, you couldn't hear him. When he was on the top side of the tree, you could hear him perfectly fine. So
we had the hunt. We had a great time.
Absolutely.
Even if you hadn't won the truck, it was a great time. Oh, yeah. All the casts went off without a hitch.
Yep. Scored a pile of coons.
Especially for the weather.
Yes.
The weather was terrible.
We hunted in monsoon.
Yeah.
I mean, winds were
the only
always
good weather was for about the first hour and a half of the early round Friday night.
That's right.
And it went to absolute hell from there.
But even then, the wind was...
Yeah, the wind was
20
terrible.
to 25 mile an hour.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad where we was at in the early. Old Whitey put on a coon tree and clinic. Both rounds the first round when I drew him and the round that he
in his top
16 round.
Yep.
But I just want to talk about the cast that I participated in, and then of course the run with rain real quick before we get into the other stuff. But Friday night we had two early entries. How this Pro Sport hunt works, it's like a traditional pro hunt.
Yep.
What used to be the pro hunts. There's 64 entries total, 40 early, 24 late.
Yep.
On Friday. And so you can buy however many entries you're able to get a hold of. Mm-hmm. And you purchased 2 entries early for me and you.
Yep.
1 entry late, and we were going to decide.
Yep.
And so you hunted shock early because scent is in heat. Otherwise, I would have been hunting scent, and you would have been hunting rain probably because that's been working for us lately.
Yep.
And so you hunted shock early. We brought the old man out of retirement. We really tuned him up. We hunted him like 2 nights before the hunt, hoping for the best. And so you hunted shock early, I hunted rain.
And the sad part is I've been breeding a female the whole time with him.
Yeah, we didn't know how he'd react, what he would do. We're just, we got fingers crossed. It was him, his grandpa Duds, or Hazel, who's not ready for that. We've never prepared her for anything like that before.
No, she's perfect for, local hunts and stuff.
And she's a dog that's been pleasure hunted so long that she's not the caliber of dog that we can take in there. You got a chance. As of yet. You got a chance with her. But, she's still going back to trees. She's still doing things like that.
Well, I mean, we've only had her.
Yeah. And
we had her for 3 months. 4 months.
I don't even think we've had her that long. We got her in March right before Bear Creek.
Well, yeah, that is true.
Yeah, we've had her just 2 months.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've done what we could of.
She's better.
With her. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's better than she was. But, I mean, she was just a pleasure dog. Mm-hmm. And pleasure dogs sometimes don't translate to what we do. And so we're tweaking on her, but she wasn't ready.
Right.
And so, perfect example is that was we were trying to warm him up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Hazel goes, bang, 200 out of the pickup, coon. Goes 100 yards, 200, coon. And we're thinking, we got this. And then the wheels fell off.
Yep.
She goes to rain already treed, and we got to get onto her. She goes and trees a slick. She bangs around and trees a den because she's a little bum-fuzzled because we already got onto her. But anyway, we didn't really want to hunt her too bad, but we would have if we had to. And so you give Shock's Castaway.
Yep.
By being a gentleman.
Yep. Give it. I mean, silver plattered it to him.
And in my cast, I had Josh Woolman, Robert Burns, and Kurt.
Yep.
And we cut loose. Whitey trees a coon for 200. I tree a coon. Robert Burns' female comes in there and covers him. So she gets a piece of it. I tree a coon for a quarter and 100 by myself. Robert's dog goes and trees another coon. So she's been on one with Whitey, and she's treed one by herself. So she's at 225. I'm at 125. Whitey's at 200. And so after I had cut rain loose, she had went behind us, got downwind, got over hill. She wasn't crazy far. She was 7/10. But, she hit some open stuff, and as soon as she hit the woods, bang, she treed a coon. I can watch her on my tracker, but they can't hear her. And we hunt away from her, and she's treed right off the road. So I make the decision to withdraw her. We're only an hour into this cast, but Whitey's treed again. He ended up treeing 2 more coons and scoring a pretty good score. But I told you when we got back to Clubhouse, I said, look, she's fresh, she's right, she's doing everything good. We need to hunt her late. Because we were still debating on what to hunt late.
Yep.
And so we flipped a coin.
Yep.
And I don't know if I won or lost.
On the coin? Which port?
On the coin toss. We coin tossed like 8 times and debated and argued.
Hey.
And
You said heads, it's you, tails, it's me.
I wanted you to hunt her because for one, let's go through my late round. Let's go through my late rounds ever.
Yeah.
I haven't won a late round since I got duds in at the Legacy Hunt at La Plata in 2019, I think.
Yep.
It's the last late round I won. And it ain't because I ain't participated in it.
That is true.
I've lost. I got second at the Sean Woods Pro Classic. I got third down there at the Woodshed Invitational. I can't win a late round. I lost 2 late rounds in a row with Bella at the World Hunt, late rounds with Colin at the World Hunt. I can't win a late round.
Yep.
And you went on a streak where you wasn't winning any early rounds.
Yeah.
So I would win early. You'd take over late, and it worked pretty good.
Yeah, we were winning.
So I didn't think we needed to break that up, to be honest. And plus, I can't win a late round. And I thought Rain had a chance. I thought she was ready and good to go, and she was fresh. She didn't hunt crazy hard that first hunt. She made 2 trees. She didn't have to go forever. So anyway, I'm out. You take Rain over on the late round Friday night.
Yep.
And you say you got lucky. How'd that cast go?
Well, I got a coon treat for 25 and 100, of course, like we have been. And then dogs got across some deep water, and we had to call timeout. And we got probably about 3 to 5 inches of rain somewhere in there.
Oh, it was horrible.
I mean, got a lot of rain. It was storming, in the late round pretty good. And so we had to call timeout. We got dogs all regrouped up, went to the next spot. I'm down 50. Pretty much it's between me and one other dog, really. Mm-hmm. We cut loose, and I haven't heard rain. We got 54 minutes left, and I haven't heard rain for 31 minutes of it. I'm sick.
Yeah.
I'm like this ignorant dog. And all of a sudden, she locates and starts treeing. No track, nothing. I strike and tree her. Well, you know how Kurt is. He starts letting me know, oh, girl's got a coon. You think she's got a coon, you know? So we go walking in there, and what ends up happening, we got 2 dogs at the tree with her. Snake was with her, and then the Crash was with her. Well, Crash, which is leading the cast, is inside the tree. Mm-hmm. Rain's got her blocked in, so we couldn't hear her, and Snake was on the outside of it. So we get in there, and we get dogs handled out and everything. I got my phone out trying to, find the coon, and can't find nothing.
Yeah, Kurt was hunting Tyson.
Kurt was hunting Tyson. Great layup dog.
Yeah, because me and you both like Whitey.
Yeah.
We do like Whitey.
Yeah,
Whitey looked good all week. Whitey's a good coon dog. I've never hunted with Tyson.
Yeah.
But we give Kurt pretty hard time about Tyson.
Yeah. There ain't no way I'd be, if I had Tyson and Whitey in the same kennel, I'd be hunting Whitey. That's just my personal preference. But anyway.
And Tyson may be great, but Kurt bragged on this layup dog. Oh, he trees him and he might. I don't know.
Yeah,
he very well may.
But boy,
he ran a deer all night.
He run them deer through the country now. So we're sitting there, and there's probably about 4.5, 5 minutes gone, and I pull out my old Big Show game squaller.
Now Tier 1 Custom Calls, who I think is going to be back on board for sponsorship. So if anybody wants a coon squaller, Lane Denny, Tyler Compton, they'll hook you up.
So this one Josh made me custom. It was the first one that he made me that was a custom. And I go to blowing the reeds out of it.
Was it the one with the Trader T on it? Yeah.
And I start blowing that thing, and all of a sudden, the coon starts coming out. Well, these guys are back there lollygagging around. And I said, here he is, guys, here he is. Well, they all come walking over there like, they ain't in no hurry.
But Finley, in their defense, there's been a few times in them late rounds and them pro classics where you're screaming, here he is, here he is, here he is.
I probably needed it to win.
Exactly. It wasn't there, and you're trying to talk them into it.
Hey.
So they may have thought it was one of those situations.
Well, anyway, so I get him up. Well, he goes right back down in that hole, and I go, it
isn't very often you can get them out twice. You can usually get them out once. You can't hardly get them out twice.
I'm irritated as all get out.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys did not see that sucker, And so I go to blowing that sucker again, and he comes running out of the hole and about runs up my leg. And I fall over because there's a fence behind me. And
Hearing Kurt tell the story. I wish we had him on here to tell the story. He said he was trying to come out and give him a kiss.
Yeah. Oh, Kurt said, he goes, boy, I've never seen nothing like that before, he said. But so anyway, we got the cast win there. After that, everybody withdrew because there's no way I could be caught. Then me and Kurt went our long journey together until after the sun come up trying to get Tyson.
I say we got in late. All of us did that night.
I got home at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So you're better off. I got home at 6. So you did better, or I did better than you did.
So we got everything done, and we had great. Everybody had good hunts. Even with the weather, we had great hunts.
Yep.
On Friday night, and then we go into Saturday. And I told you when I showed up, I said, "You can hunt her tonight. I don't care."
I knew you didn't. You've always given me the opportunity to hunt when I wanted to hunt. But you also, and you've done this too, when someone's winning with a dog, you don't pull them off of it either.
That's right.
You don't do it with Jason Klum. You don't do it with me. You don't do it with you. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
If someone gets that cast win, other than them situations where I'm struggling in them late rounds, until I get a late round win, I ain't taking them dogs on a late round. I did it the other night at the woodshed.
Yeah.
Because I said, hey, let me take her. I'll get her. I got her in. She treed 3 coons early. Me and Cent, we love each other, and then the wheels fell off late. The only reason I even got third is because Jock got out of pocket and never made a tree.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but on another thing, I guided that late round cast Friday night. We hunted in the ranges like you guys did. It was freaking pouring on us. And it was Nikki Hale, Jimmy Mikesell, and Mike Fields, and Justin Perriman. And Nikki won that cast with 0, and I just wanted to mention this before because people see these scores and they see, I can't believe they paid $1,000 entry for a dog that's had 200 minus and 200 plus and all this stuff, and Up's a pretty good coon dog. Now, Up struggled this week, and Nikki will tell you that too. We've got a podcast coming with him next week that I actually recorded Saturday before the semifinals. or before the semifinals. But they don't understand the weather, and they don't understand the situations, and where we didn't turn these dogs loose in our best spots because our best spots were flooded.
Yep.
You know, we're turning loose in hilly thickets and stuff. And yes, there's coons there, but we seen coons on the way into the truck. And if you don't have an absolute layup dog, and some of these were, but the wind's blowing 40 miles an hour.
That's
it's hard
right.
to lay a coon up when the wind's blowing 40 miles an hour. We seen coons in these oaks, 4 or 5 of them, right there at the beginning of the cast. We walk this cast out, and it's 3 hours later when we get back to the truck, and they ain't moved an inch.
Yeah, still
the coons
up there
weren't
sleeping.
down. And, you know, so everyone says, I can't believe you'd go to Missouri. And here we are hunting tired dogs in the middle of it. Jimmy's hunting a pretty good dog, and that Duke dog, he wouldn't even go hunting.
Yeah.
He's a young dog. He's a pup. He'd never turned him loose in that thunderstorm and rain and lightning and everything. The dog didn't go hunt.
Yep.
You can't fault him for it, you know,
No.
but Jimmy had a late entry. Jimmy's got to hunt it. So anyway, we had a great cast. Nicky ended up winning the cast. He treed a coon in a hole in a log that we could see. And then Fields' dog treed a coon, but also treed a slick and took her out of it. And so, I mean, it is what it is. It was rough hunting. But anyway, we went to the Saturday night. And we got the meals ready. Everybody was happy. Everybody was good. I judged the early round with Kurt.
You know, and I would like to say one thing about the mood on Saturday.
Yeah.
It was laid back, people bullshitting.
Yep.
You know, you would have never guessed that you were there to hunt for a truck.
Yeah. I'm so sick of these, which you don't have Facebook.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't.
I'd say sick, and I'm gonna be a little politically incorrect here, but I'm so sick of these freaking idiots on social media that talk about all this cheating and all this that and all. There's $70,000 total on the line roughly.
Yeah.
And here we are cutting up like we're best buddies, and I don't care if it's the finals, semifinals, first round, early round. Everybody was golden.
Yes.
I mean, and that's the way all these major events are. That's just the way they are.
I think the higher end entry fee hunts, you do not see anything that's, granted, you're always going to have situations where a question is going to come up and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I would say 95% of them, there's not a problem.
No,
Zero. There wasn't even a question, and we're hunting for a truck.
And I get so sick of people saying, well, let's just see who trees the most coons, and it's just see this. And it's a team sport.
Absolutely.
I got to make every advantage for my dog by using the rules, influencing the judge, influencing the other cast members, all that stuff that good handlers do to give my dog a shot. And maybe I can get my dog through a cast where it doesn't look good.
Absolutely.
You know, and everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
And we all know that everybody's doing that.
Yep.
Now, nobody's bending or breaking rules.
Nope.
Now, Kurt, God bless him, has to give Whitey at least 100 minus every freaking cast, that poor dog. But just like we're walking along in the Saturday night cast, and we walk on a hill, and of course I'm walking hard. I'm trying to get to Axe, who's treating in front of us. We get on the hill, and Whitey locates, I guess, and Kurt trees him halfway through his locate like he does all the time. And I put him in for 100, and I can hear a dog right-handed tree in every breath. I'm assuming this is Whitey. Zach stops me. He says, hey, that's all Bonnie. I'm treeing Bonnie right there for 100. And he says for 100. So Bonnie is automatically declared split no matter if I think they're together or not. And he said, Kurt, your dog's left-handed. I can't sort it out right then. I have to go to Axis Tree. If they're together, we're going to have a problem. You know, it's going to be a pretty difficult call for me to make. We go to Axis Tree. She's slick. We're walking off it, and I can hear Whitey treed, and I can hear the other dog treed. Now I can hear Bonnie treed. But they're in line from where we were walking to Axe. So I asked the cast to go right back to where Zach declared Bonnie right there. Well, Kurt said Kurt treed Whitey in that area too. The big mistake Kurt made was not stopping me and making me put the 2 on Whitey and saying he's not where Bonnie is.
Yes.
You know, but he said, hey, Kurt, God bless him, just trees Whitey. He don't even know where he's at. Yeah. He treed him in the early round on Friday. He goes, tree Whitey. I'm not sure where he's at, but I hear him.
In the finals. We're sitting there at a tree, shining Ralph's tree, and Legs is treed. Kurt goes, tree me for 75, and I know he's that way. I said, I said, so Dalton's, can I just tree my dog? I don't have to tell you where it's at.
Exactly.
I said, because I'm treed back there.
Yeah. Well, the second tree or third tree or something, Whitey looked great. Whitey's a good coon dog. Whitey treed 4 coons that cast. But the second tree or the third, I think it was the third tree actually. Whitey had a coon in the ground, and there's another bad break that Nikki caught. It sounded like Whitey and Up were split, so Nikki didn't tree Up. And we went into Whitey's tree. Well, they're in the ground, and Up is in it, and Whitey's outside of it. And so Nikki took 50 pump on his strike because, you know, Up's there in the coon street. He never, I stuck my head in the hole. There's this coon, you know, and so he caught a bad break there too. But you know, it's just Kurt. God bless him. I love him to death. Yeah, and I always enjoy hunting with him. Yeah. But just like we went back up on that hill, and it's still Bonnie is right where Zach told me Bonnie was. Yeah. And here's Whitey treed left-handed. Now I think he was there. He was in that hole. So I think he was there the whole time. I think he located it. I think Kurt treed it. And I think he shut up after that to dig. Yeah. And Kurt never made me put the 2 on him or nothing. And he tells me he's over there where Bonnie's at. Well, there's only one dog treeing, so I got to minus him now. Yeah. I said, Kurt, that's all Bonnie. I think you treed Bonnie. That's the only dog that was treeing whenever you declared treed. And we know it's Bonnie now, so you're going to have to eat your minus. Well, Kurt blows up. He's going to question it. He's mad. And then he says, I know I screwed up. You know, the whole thing that Kurt goes through. Yeah. Yeah. And then he's like, I always cost my dog 100. Let's hope we can get through it. And to Whitey's credit, he did. Yeah. Whitey had a coon in that hole, treated another coon. And what was really impressive at the end of the cast is Bonnie got way deep and got treed, and I could barely hear her off and on. And I took Zach's call, and it was a borderline whether I should take his call. But I could hear her. Zach didn't even have her on his Garmin. And I could hear a dog through that direction, and I knew, you know, I mean, I about had to take it. So I take it, we go walking, we get to Bonnie. We pull Bonnie off that tree, and I can hear Whitey. And I assume he's down there in that same little draw that they were banging around in where he got struck. And because Whitey's got a good mouth, but that wind was blowing right at us. Oh, yeah. It was blowing right at us. So I go to walk, and I put the stationary on Whitey. Kurt has the tree, and there's 15 minutes left in this cast. Kurt has the tree. We go walk, and I said, Kurt, give me your Garmin. I'll see what the best way to get to the dog is. And I look at it, and the dog's like 1.12 miles. And I thought, Whitey has a coon here. Yeah. Because Whitey blew out of there and done a good job and had a coon. And so Whitey advanced, and that was the same night that you advanced with rain on those 2 coons and the one you squalled out of a den. So we move on to Saturday. Everybody's in a good mood. Jeremy got in with Josie. Yep. Garen got in with Cora. You know, the locals were showing up pretty good. Yep. And so we had a pretty good feeling. I still had a good feeling about rain. And then what happened Saturday early?
Well, Saturday early was it was interesting to say the least. We cut loose, and I get struck for 75, and rain goes in there and locates, and one boy trees his dog, another boy trees his dog, and I'm like, kind of looking around like, well, what the hell? There's only one dog really treeing here, boys. Well, anyway, but BTO goes to treeing with him, or with Rain.
Another trader dog.
Yeah, another trader dog. The only 2 trader dogs in
out of Overdrive and Old Bella.
Yeah, and so the only 2 that are in, and they end up drawing each other. And so I tree for a quarter, walk in there, got a cone, stogie split. Go to him.
You were struck for
75 and 25.
How'd you get her struck for 75? I guess she had BTO. BTO was pretty quiet.
Yeah. Everything was pretty quiet in the cast. Yeah. So we get recut, and everything gets struck again, and the Sam dog was, you know, still on running. And so we go into Stogie. He's struck and treed. He's on a slick. We go to Sam then, which treed, and he's on a den. So he's at 100 minus. Stogie's at 125 minus. Well, Jake trees BTO clear through the country. Whole time I'm smiling. I know who it is. Yeah. You could hear a dog, and you could hear BTO barking every once in a while, but I knew what was going on. Yeah. So we go all the way, have to walk all the way around. We get up to the river, and I said, Jake, we need to call timeout. I'm not treed on this tree, mind you. And Jake's like, we got to find a way around. There's a road right up here. So I walk around. We find and then we get to the next ditch, and this is the ditch. I know if we can't get across this ditch, I look up. It was a sign from God. The culvert was right there to get across. Yeah. I said, here we go, boys. We take off walking. I'm trying to get over there as quick as possible. When we start going, all of a sudden, I know rain starts breaking it down a little slower and a little slower. So I said, let's stop and listen. Sure enough, she peels out of there. She goes about 100 or about 55, 60 yards, comes treat again. I'm thinking, brush pile.
Yeah.
I knew it was. So then, finally, they peel on out of there. Both of them do. And
so Jake takes 100 pump there.
So Jake takes 100 pump, puts me in the lead. So we get up on top of this hill, and the boy goes, do you hear Sam through here? No. Well, 6 ends up catching us. So now I take 25 minus. Jake takes 25 minus. Now I'm at 75 plus. Jake's at 50 plus. This other boy's at 200 minus.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're sitting there, and I'm like, come on. Somebody just make a bark or something. Or he was at 100 minus yet. So I'm just like, somebody just make a bark. Well, rain opens up. Give me 100. Pretty much all I got to do, tree for 75 in this cast, and it's over. So...
Was you worried about, because you're hunting pretty quiet dogs and one of them's out of the pocket?
Yeah. No, I wasn't.
When rain opens, was you worried about the 6 catching?
No, because she was screaming. She was
yeah,
running
good track.
that. Yeah, good track. And she runs it out in the middle of this wide open field, and I know there's a pile out there. So I'm like, well, she ran it to the pile. Well, BTO opens for 75, gets in that pile with her, and the other boy strikes his dog for 50, clear the other way. So I'm sitting there, and Judas goes, I hear them dogs in there. Well, I look at my watch to start my watch, and Jake trees. BTO. I'm like, them dogs ain't barking. They weren't barking. Everybody was wanting to hear a dog bark, but they were not barking. And Judas thought we could hear him, so we started walking down the road to BTO. I said, let's stop and listen, because these dogs ain't barking. Well, I know mine's running.
Yeah.
So I looked, we stopped. Mine's blowing through the country. 2 gets BTO. Well, the other boy treated his dog before we left us going down this hill, so we go back to the top of the hill. And we get up there, and his tree doesn't matter now.
I say, if he's at 200 minus, why?
No, he was at 100 minus. I misspoke.
Got you.
So if he trees a coon, he'll be at 50 plus. He'll be 25 behind me. Yep. So he trees, and we get to the top of this hill. Juice goes, I do not hear him. I'm putting the 2 on him. I mean, that wind's, the wind's whipping. The dog's downwind of us, probably not going to hear him. And we're sitting there waiting. And about 1:30, the wind just dies. I mean, it wasn't just long enough. I said, Judas, I cannot lie. I can hear that dog. And that boy looks at me, and he goes, you hear him too? And you can always hear your own dog further than anybody else can hear it. But when that wind died just enough, I could hear him. And I said, I do hear that dog, Judas. So here we go. Well, I go, how far is that dog? I looked down at my watch, 15 minutes left in the hunt.
You wanted to hear that dog too, Finley.
I did.
You wanted to hear. You knew it don't matter if he's got a coon or not. Get away from these 2.
15 minutes left. He was 800 and some yards. I'm like, well, let's chewing up. So we get there, got a coon. 6 can't get me.
Yeah.
We ain't going to hear them other dogs because they're now.
How much time's left when you get that coon scored?
5 minutes.
So that dog's got a tree in 5 minutes to beat
you. Well,
you.
and we got to hear ours to open up for him to cut.
Oh, you got to walk all the way back to where yours were struck.
So, yeah. So, I mean, everybody
For those that aren't familiar with the rules, if you walk away from dogs that are struck and you go to score a tree, you have to walk back while hunt time is running to the last place you heard them.
Right.
And so if that's another 800 yards, your 5 minutes is up, cast is over.
Yep. So they end up just withdrawing because there's nothing they could do. So we get to the late round. Sure enough, I meet up with old Kurt again.
Yeah, you got Whitey, Legs, Ralph, who's ever won a truck.
Ralph just
won.
What
all has Legs won?
World,
he's a world champion. That's a pretty nice dog, and the Burdens are packing him. They're a pretty nice dog.
And Ralph just won the last truck that they had.
Yes, Ralph won the truck down in Arkansas, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, and so Whitey was on a roll.
Yep. And
Whitey's looked good all week.
Hey, and I am a huge Whitey fan.
I am too.
I mean, I said this from day one. I tried buying him from Buzz and Kurt.
I'm hard on Kurt's dogs because me and Kurt like to argue about TrackMan all the time. But
Whitey ain't TrackMan.
No. Whenever I beat Kurt on that coin, now at Memphis,
we are opening up a can of worms again.
At Memphis at the Pro Classic, I beat Kurt on a coin flip, but Rain treed 4 coons that cast.
Yes.
Kurt can say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Rain treed 4 raccoons and was only on the ground for 16 minutes.
Yeah.
The rest of the time she spent treed.
Yeah.
Because they were scoring other stuff.
Yeah.
Josh Thornhill made a little mistake judging. I understand how it happened. No, Josh is a good dude. I like Josh, and he just made a mistake, and I questioned it, and we were all gentlemen until Kurt lost that coin flip, and then he wasn't quite a gentleman for a little bit, but he got over it, and we're buddies again and all that stuff. But that night, Whitey treed a coon for 200, treed another coon by himself for a quarter and 100, covered Rain on a coon that was real hot on a recut that he should have covered on. You know, that dog should have been in on that coon. They both struck at about the same time. Rain just treated a little bit in front of him. Whitey covered the beater on paper, but when we went back to do the question, I won my question and all that stuff. And so since then, I've been a pretty big Whitey fan.
Yeah.
I remember I called you after that cast and said, you know, if it weren't for Kurt, that dog would be doing a lot of winning.
Yeah, yeah.
The dog's pretty good about having coons. He makes enough trees to overcome Kurt's screw-ups, or if he makes a bad tree.
We're always so hard
I know,
on Kurt.
I love Kurt. Kurt's my buddy. And Kurt will tell you the same thing. Whitey does enough to make up for it.
Yep.
And so you're running into a pretty hot dog. Mm-hmm. And then you're running into a world champion, and you're running into a previous truck winner.
Yep.
Now, Rain's no slouch. Rain's a platinum champion. Rain's
we
won.
always like to be the underdog.
Yeah, but as far as winnings go, even though Rain's won, how much has she won now? 70,000 or something like that.
80-something.
80-some thousand.
Yep.
You know, but she was still the underdog in that cast.
Yeah.
But I got to watch the first 25 minutes of the live feed because I went home gutted after that first round when we walked 8 miles.
Yeah.
And so I'm on pins and needles, and you guys ain't got no cell phone service. But from what I gathered, Rain treated coon out of the pickup.
Yeah, she. When we cut loose, they all struck right in front of us.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Hey, one more question I have. What dog did Kurt actually strike?
He struck legs.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, he struck legs.
And Zach obviously knew it too.
Yes. Yep.
In Dalton's defense, though, when you're a judge,
he didn't know the dogs.
How are you going to know?
Yep.
You know, and that's the same problem I run to when I'm judging. If I'm judging 4 dogs I've only hunted with, maybe one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what dog's what.
Yeah.
I can't sort it out until later in the cast, if at all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he struck legs. But anyway, so we Brain just peeled right-handed right away and just bam, treed that coon. And they were all going left-handed and straight away from us. And as soon as Rain come treed,
Where did you guys turn loose at?
we actually went to behind Jake's.
Oh, Helbings. At
Yep.
Helbings. Okay.
And then we went up by the hay pile and cut straight down in.
Yep.
And so we treed that coon just bam. She treed that coon right out of the pickup. And when I cut back loose into legs, because Ralph and Whitey came in and covered, and if she would have got treated another 20 seconds earlier, they wouldn't have mattered.
3-minute trees in Pro Sport.
Yeah.
I like, kudos again to Pro Sport. These are freaking badass rules.
Yeah.
They're
awesome
badass rules.
And so we went, got that done. We cut back in loose into legs, and she went behind us. Well, Kurt's wanting to strike behind us, and Whitey's towards legs, and I'm back here. And so I go, Dalton, you got me back here? And he goes, yep, I got a dog. And I said, Kurt's like, now, Jed, that's me. And I said, Kurt, that is not you. I mean, there's a way big distinction.
Whitey and Rain don't even sound alike.
But
Whitey's got a good mouth. Rain's got a good mouth. Rain sounds like a male dog.
Yes.
Now, she'll squeak sometimes on a track, you know, and that'll throw some judges when you strike her on that squeak.
Yeah.
Because she'll be over there going, ay, sound like a coyote, and then all of a sudden it's, oh. And I'm like, well, that's Rain too.
Yeah.
They don't believe me usually, but it is.
So he goes, I end up getting struck. And then finally Kurt hears Whitey in there by the legs and strikes. Well, we're sitting on this hill, and I'm sitting there listening to Rain. I turn around and look to tell Dalton to come over there because I can hear starting to, things are starting to get about ready to tree. And I turn around and look, they're gone. They're 100 yards from me walking. And I'm like,
Someone had treed?
No. So I go, what in the hell? So I take off, and I'm hot at this point. I get up there, and I said, Dalton, what are we doing? I said, who treed? He goes, nobody. I said, well, why are we walking away from my dog to hear these? Well, I can only go to the dogs I hear. I said, you can hear Rain up on that hill over there.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, then Kurt, he's got to get in the middle of it and tree his damn dog.
Oh, yeah.
So we go.
Once he trees, it's over.
Yeah.
You got to go towards that tree.
So he's 880 or 8.88 or something. I don't know. He's a long ways through there. So we go walking, and we get in there. He's on a den tree. squall the damn coon out of the hole.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Comes right up, out, comes out of the...
Did he use that squaller I got him?
Kurt didn't even squall because I didn't think he forgot that was in his pocket. Dalton was the one squalling. So, coon comes right out on a limb, comes right out of the hole, crawls out on a limb, and Greg Maynard found the coon.
Yeah.
So we're good to go, Now I'm sick. But I'm starting.
So that puts Whitey, because Whitey covered rain on that first coon.
So that
for
put him
what?
at 250.
Yeah, yeah.
He was 125.
So he struck legs for 100. Maybe Kurt's handling ain't as bad as we think.
He's an offensive dude.
Yeah. He strikes legs for 100, gets it, trees for a quarter.
Yeah.
On range tree, barely gets there. And then gets off in there and gets treed again for a quarter and 100. So he's at 250. I got you.
So we walk off that tree, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, I got to hear this dog.
And Rain's treed by now.
Yeah, Rain's been treed.
Yeah.
She was actually treed before we left.
Yeah.
To head
That's
to Whitey.
That's a sick feeling, too. And, gosh, I hate that.
And so I'm sitting there, and, I know, I'm hoping that at some point we can move back that way.
Yeah.
But legs just keeps dropping in there further. So
yeah.
We get off that tree, Kurt, he's wound up, he's walking tall.
He was going to retire if he won that truck.
He's going to retire. I told him I'd give him the truck if he actually retired. But he cuts Whitey loose, and he goes out there and makes about 2 barks. And at 40 seconds, he just strikes him.
Oh, Kurt.
And next time he barks, he's about 800 yards.
Yeah.
I said, well, when he did it, I said, Dalton, that was under the minute, correct?
Yep.
And Dalton goes, yes, that was under a minute. It was 42 seconds, or I think it was 42 seconds or something. Whitey doesn't say another word for 800 yards. He opens again. Dalton goes, sorry, Kurt, but you're minus. That was under a minute.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, that's just a good piece of judging.
Yeah.
And so we, he takes mine. Oh, no big deal. It's only a quarter,
Yeah.
And we're in coon zoo. I mean, we're going to tree some coons.
Yeah.
Well, Ralph gets treed. We go to Ralph. He's got a slick. We pull off of that. Legs and Whitey are treed in there together.
Because them dogs, you've hunted with Ralph and all them, they don't make very many. I think that wind.
Yes, because these were big, good trees. I mean, these weren't like trees that you normally walk in there and you're going to look at a coon.
Yeah.
And so we cut Ralph back loose. He falls treed immediately. And then, but we had to go to Whitey and Legs. So we walk over to Whitey and Legs. They're on a big den. Now I'm really sick because I just need...
You needed a minus tree.
I needed a minus tree or something. So we walk all the way back to Ralph. But when we were walking in, we seen this coon in this tree right there along the creek. And I'm like, and everybody's shining, look at this coon, yada, yada, yada. Well, we cut loose. What's Whitey do? Peels right back around, comes treed. I'm like, gutted. I'm hunting for second.
Yeah.
Well, Legs goes back to his tree, but these guys don't tree because Zach knows his dog's back at the same tree. So they want to see what Ralph's got. Well, we get back to Ralph. He's on another slick. I finally go, Dalton, can you hear me through there? He goes, yes, I do. I said, can you hear me enough to take a call? He said, let's pull Ralph off here, and then I'll listen. And then if I can hear you, then I'll take your call. Because it's hard to hear with dogs barking and everything. Yeah. So we're sitting there, and Dalton goes, we pulled Ralph off. I can hear her, but Dalton can't.
Yeah.
And it's one of them deals where I can hear, but he could hear her before with Ralph, because he'd pause and stuff while James was hooking him up, and he could hear, but that wind was gusting and stuff.
Bad thing about Rain is she chews some.
Yes.
Yeah. She'll chew, especially this time of year. When it starts getting, which it wasn't warm that night, but when it starts getting warmer, she'll chew a little bit.
So we, what do they do? Zach trees Legs. Kurt
walk away from her again. Yeah.
Kurt trees Whitey for a quarter. Kurt's thinking he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I go walking in there. I look down at my watch. 9 minutes left. This point, I'm about to blow a gasket. I'm so mad because of this damn dog. I can't get her treed. I'm just letting this, it's just, you can feel the truck slipping away, and it's pretty much gone because you know that Whitey went back and treed that coon.
It's never gone with old Kurt.
I know. So we go back and we go get Legs off his tree, which is on the same tree. Yep. But when we're going to Legs, everybody just throws their lights in Whitey's tree. Like, everybody's shining Whitey's tree. You know, everybody's like, well, we're going to see if we got a coon and this thing's going to be over. Nobody sees a coon.
Uh-oh.
And I'm thinking, holy shit.
That'd be the first slick Whitey made all week.
And so we walk back around. Kurt goes, I got a hole over here. Well, this tree, Josh, is no bigger than a bottle of whiskey. And so I go running over there. Of course, I'm going over there to look, you know. And I said, a damn field mouse couldn't get in that sucker, Kurt. And Kurt, you know, he's wound up now. He's mad. You know, he's mad at the, you know, mad just because of the situation and stuff. And he knows it's slick, you know. Like, come on, let's go. And I go, well, we got to go back to the last place we heard rain. She's the only dog that's been struck.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, yeah, I got it now.
How much hunt time's left?
6 minutes.
Oh, you walk it out and it's done.
I'm like, we're going to walk clear to, you know, as far as we can.
The worst comes to worst, you get to where you can hear you have to tree her, and then it ain't going to matter
exactly.
anyway. Yeah.
So we start heading that way, and legs opens behind us again. I'm like, that son of a gun. So he gets to cut Whitey loose.
Yeah.
Well, Whitey starts opening, goes right down the creek, and just wah, yah, yah, yah. I'm like, no way. This can't be happening. And then Whitey just shuts up. And Legs is still in there treeing. Legs back on the same tree. Don't have to tree him, obviously, though. Time runs out, and old Rain got a truck win.
I'll tell you what, Jed.
But like I told everybody, I said I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
Yeah. But, I mean, Rain trees a coon.
Yeah.
I assume she had a coon when you went to her?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
She had another one.
So she trees a coon, leaves that, goes and trees another coon.
Yeah.
It's not her fault the wind was blowing.
Yeah. And, I mean, if the wind wasn't blowing, there'd been no trouble hearing her. I mean, we'd have heard her easily because we got to within, at one point, I think it was like 0.63 at one point, and then, but most of the time we were over a mile. Yeah. You know, because they were just,
and Rain's got a, you're gonna hear Rain at 8 or 9/10 even with the leaves on.
Yeah, and she's got a good cadence.
Yeah,
you know,
she does.
Oh, you know, it sounds like a little
when
kid
she
crying.
throws that off bark in her tree, you can hear that forever.
Absolutely.
But you say you luck into it, but Rain stayed out of trouble.
Yeah, she did her job.
She treated a coon out of the truck. She left that. She treated another coon. She stayed there for an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
And was still there when you got there. Well, and that's about all you can ask.
Ralston said he sat there and listened to her the whole cat. Yeah. You know, after he said, you knew right when she come treating.
And that's one of the reasons because I love Rain. You know I love Rain, and I love Sant and Bella and all these trader females that I've done so well with. I'm a nervous wreck when someone else is handling her. When I'm handling her, I'm not too bad. Yeah. But I can't go spectate with you. Yeah. You know, because if I'm sitting in that truck with Ralston, I'm over there. I'm gonna lose them. I'm gonna lose my mind listening to that dog tree for an hour and 45 minutes, knowing that coon can beat everybody and it's done. Yeah. You know, and so doesn't matter. There's a brand new Ford Ranger parked in your driveway. I stopped. I looked at it when I come in. You got a gunner kennel out of the deal.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll tell you right now, Pro Sport. I mean, they give you a new truck, and it's a nice. Yeah. This is black on black, black rims, black truck. And then
I know. I had Stacy with me when I pulled up, and she goes, "Wow, what's that truck?" I said, "Well, that's the truck we win." And then she looked at me. She's like, "You should have won it. That's a nice truck."
And then the thing that I like about another thing is they throw in that gunner truck or gunner dog box. Yep. And I mean that's another $600-700 or whatever them are.
And we Joy Dog Food had just signed the deal, and I told Wade when they were negotiating that, I said, "Look, me and Jed haven't hunted it. You know, we're still a little apprehensive, but all that's gone now because the hunt was great. Greg did a fantastic job. Yep. Scott had his little girl softball tournament this week, so he couldn't come out, you know, which is understandable. Yep. You know, the family comes first and all that stuff. We completely understand. But everybody stepped up. Greg did a fantastic job. The coverage is great. The rules are great. All the casts went good. Yep. And so, you know, I was really impressed.
And the other thing is their coverage of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, they really do a great coverage of it. I mean, Greg
goes above and beyond about trying to promote it and do that stuff. So that's good. And that's what we need.
And there's nothing, you know, like I told Greg last night, I said, these rules suit everybody.
They're dynamite.
Because
the only thing I worried about was walking to every tree and keeping the cast together, but it wasn't that bad.
But here's the deal. If you think about that, it eliminates 90% of your questions. Mm-hmm.
The judge
Because
is always there to hear your call.
Not only that,
If a dog moves while you're walking to it,
Yep.
you're not relying on the handler to come back and say, look, my
That's
dog
right.
moved, I'm taking my minus. There's not guys sitting at a tree where they miss a coon by a tree and they're over there with a thermal looking at it. You know, because I'm not going to lie, at every hunt I go to, when I get to Brain's tree or Scent's tree or whoever's tree, and I tie that dog up, I'm shining that tree with my thermal.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to see if it's got... And the judges even know it. You know, the judges walk in, they say, where's he at?
Yeah.
And I'll say, well, either I don't know or he's right here.
Yeah.
You know, because
And everybody does it.
Everybody does it, and it's understood.
And here's the other thing I like about it. When you walk into a tree, before you even get that time started,
Everybody's looking
looking
at the tree. It's a sportsman
Yeah.
deal, you know. I did it too, especially as a non-hunting judge on
Yes.
Saturday night. I went and handled Whitey on his last tree because Kurt was
Gutted.
back there gutted because we walked him to death. You know, he had to pause halfway through the cast. He's like, I got to take a break. I'm 60 years old.
I got to make a drink.
Yeah, go ahead. Make a drink. But as far as pro sport goes, and like I said, we were apprehensive because it was always in the East. You know, it's in Ohio. It's in Mojo country, which is fine. It's long, but that's a long ways from us. And so we decided to have it, and we were just going to see how it goes. And next thing you know, even if Jed had not come home with that truck, we would have had another one for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And Jed's putting Sprite in his whiskey, which ought to be a crime.
Hey,
That should be illegal in at least 49 states.
all I know is I got to go to bed tonight.
We're not running on much sleep, are we, Finley?
No.
I got in at 6 a.m. on Friday, and I was slept as long as you did
Yeah.
because I woke you up. I woke up, and then I called you.
Yeah, you woke up and go, did you get all the burgers and brats yet?
Yeah.
No?
Let's give credit to the judges that we called up.
Yes, Sean
Yeah.
Wood.
Yeah.
He came and judged for us.
Yep.
Hey, one thing about him, he told us before this hunt, if we needed help, call him.
Yep.
We called him.
Sean's a busy guy, too. He worked an auction all day that day.
Yep.
He come by, and he judged for us. George Major got beat. He stayed.
Yep.
Dalton Cummings stayed.
Yep.
You know, Cheyenne was in, but Dalton didn't have to stay for that
Yep.
late round.
And also the guides. I mean,
Yep.
Zane come over, helped out.
Yep.
Mike Noe, which I apologize to Mike Noe.
That
I
was
forgot
one of
to
them
get a
deals.
hold of him.
Jed's like, you talked to Mike, right? I said, I thought you did.
Yeah. But anyway, so, I mean, those guys, you know, coming out, helping out Ralston. I mean, Ralston is always stepping up, being truck
always
man and
does,
everything. I mean, we got a good club over there.
Yeah.
Everybody helps out. We never have any major issues.
We had and the rain really messed up our spots.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Ratton's cast, when I come in from the late round on Friday, I'm driving home. Man, I'm dreary eyed. I got the high beams on, hoping I don't hit a deer. And I look up and there's Bob Noble parked on a hill about 8 miles from where this cast is supposed to be. And I said, Bob, I pulled over. I said, Bob, what are you doing here? Because all them boys are walking out here. Well, Brad had turned away from that water, and the water was so bad where we went to cut them. It was my fault. I hadn't looked at it. I didn't know the water had come up that much. And, man, they were scattered all over the planet. I went and got Shooter for Brad because he was gutted, and I knew he was gutted. Great guy.
Yeah.
And Shooter's in there sunk deep with a coon, but it was one of them deals where you couldn't hear him, you know, because he'd went the way the coons were, and the water had messed him up. But the water had messed up a lot of our spots.
A ton of them.
We were still able to tree a ton of coons.
Well, we treed early round. We treed 10 in my cast on, and Greg Maynard. He goes, man, we need to have another one of these bigger hunts out here because
we're going to.
He goes, it's safe. You know, one thing he said about it, it's so safe.
Yes,
you know,
it is.
we got
that's
big
just like
country.
Nicky late round Friday night when I was guiding out there, and I walked along with them guys guiding, which I don't normally do because everybody's got topo maps. Everybody knows where they can go, and a lot of times it's good for the guide to stay at the truck and go around and pick them up.
Yep.
But Mike Fields' wife stayed at the truck. God bless her. She come picked us up at the end of the cast. But Nicky would be like, hey, this dog's over here. Is he okay? I said, Nicky, he's got 3.5 miles before he's in trouble. You know, we've got some places that are big areas. But like I said, the water, my gosh, it rained.
Yeah.
It rained, family.
And like I said, where we're at with our hills, everything fills up so fast.
It does.
You know, and it runs off. You know, you give it a day, it'll run off a lot.
Today all the creeks are where you can cross them.
But when it's raining 5 inches overnight, there ain't much you're going to do. And, you know.
I know they were talking about a creek up there on, it ain't even a creek. It's a ditch.
Yeah.
You know, that never has water. It don't even have water in it, 11 and a half months a year. And they're like, man, we couldn't get across it. It was rolling and it was out. And, it is what it is. We couldn't help the weather, but everything still went off without a hitch. And it went really well.
You look at the ditches that we crossed where I had Kurt grabbing vines and swinging across. I mean.
The Snapchat video was fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, that was a good video.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he was very limber on that.
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, I was surprised at Kurt for being 60 years old.
Yeah,
and he'll tell everybody he's 60 years old too, about every 30 seconds.
Yeah, and he told everybody he was 60 years old probably, I'd say this weekend, probably 30, 40 times.
And he's been saying that since like 1984.
Yeah.
So who knows how old Kurt actually is.
But yeah, he gets around good though. I can tell you what, Kurt, that man, he motates through the woods.
I'll tell you what, in 20 years, I hope I can get around as good as Kurt does.
Yeah.
Because when I leashed Whitey up at that tree, and you know how I like Whitey.
Yeah.
And so I'm over there and I put a leash on Whitey, and kudos to Whitey. Whitey knew that I wasn't Kurt.
Yeah.
He was kind of side-eyeing me a little bit, like, what's this guy doing here putting a leash on me? And I'm petting Whitey up, and man, he finally gets blowing up on this tree again, and Kurt's laying on top of the hill thinking Jesus.
Yeah.
But he was only about 50 yards behind me, and we were 5.5 miles into that cast.
And he does, he just does it.
Yeah, he does. And Kurt come out on, which I drew him early on Friday, and he was nervous. My gosh, he was a nervous wreck. And I told Kurt, I said, Kurt, I envy you. He goes, what do you mean? I said, here we are hunting for a brand new pickup. It's $1,000 entry, and I don't even have a butterfly, which is good to be a handler sometimes. You don't make many mistakes when you're calm and easygoing and all that stuff. But, you got to get into the finals just like you.
Yeah.
You probably were in the finals before you got any nervousness.
To be honest with you, I wasn't even nervous going to the finals.
Exactly.
Anymore, I don't know what it is. It just kind of... I wish I did get that.
I do too.
I wish I got that rush, but I don't know what it is. It don't fire me up.
Yeah.
And Kurt has the fire for me.
All the time.
There is no doubt that man has the fire and loves it. He loves the sport.
Yeah, he loves really the sport. He loves his dogs.
Yeah.
He loves Whitey.
Well, you go down to his house and see how many dogs he's got in the house and how many pups he's got running around there. He loves those dogs. He takes care of those dogs. They're his kids.
Yep.
Really.
And a beautiful, clean place.
Yes.
And just nice to be at. And I always enjoy being around Kurt. But we haven't touched on anything but that hunt, which is fine. I'm excited. And one of the things I got, and Big Brother was even telling me, you want to handle. I said, no, Jeremy, I want that dog to win.
Yeah.
And if Jed wins or I win, it doesn't make any difference to me.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wanted to talk about is Trader Inc. is a team.
Yeah.
Me, you, Ralston,
Justin, Josh, Sammy,
all them guys.
Big
we're a team.
Yeah.
And when Big Tom comes down there and is over there feeding our dogs while we're sleeping in, he's a teammate.
Yeah.
And there's no other sport. Me and Nikki was talking about like that. There's no other sport like it.
No.
Nikki even said, there could be a guy that disagreed with you on the cast and hates your guts, and the minute you need help, that guy's over there to help you.
That's right.
Coon hunters are, especially in the circuit that we run in, they're just fantastic people.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy for Trader Inc. and Rain.
Yes, I am too.
Yep. I got a special spot in my heart for Rain whenever she was sick and snake bit and she's puking all over my house and everything. I wouldn't put up with that for many dogs. But I do it for Rain and I do it for you. And man, I'm just thrilled to death that you guys won that truck.
Well, like I told you last night, that it's a team win. Really, because you were the one that made the call, hunt her late. She's fresh. I wasn't out there to see what she did.
Yeah.
You made the call, and I said you made the right call. I was you made the right call. Let's go with her. And
I really felt And we've had that feeling. We had that feeling with Rain going into the world hunt.
Yep.
And I wish we'd have switched Rain and scent then.
Yes.
Because I get along with scent great too.
Yep.
But sometimes dogs need a switch, handlers need a switch, and maybe I would make a mistake that you didn't, or you would make a mistake that I didn't. And so we got to be able to understand.
There's only one dog we can agree that you're not hunting.
That's Shock.
That's Shock.
I'm not hunting that goofy. And Shock, God bless him, he's probably top 3 most talented coon dogs I've ever seen turn loose.
Yeah. Yeah.
That dog can tree the fire, and he can tree them every which way.
Yeah.
He can run a cold track. He can run a hot track like he's looking at it. He can lay coons up. He can do all this stuff. But me and him do not see eye to eye.
He doesn't do it when you cut him loose.
No. I remember probably 3 casts. All Shock had to do was make a legitimate tree to win.
Yeah.
And one of them was at the Lone Star Shootout where I advance, and it's a $4,000 payday. Yeah. And I can't even get this dog get treed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we were down to Shock and Rain because of scent being in heat and Hazel not being ready. And, it is what it is. We can't help it now. We got 3 or 4 dogs, but 2 of them are usually ready at a time. Yeah. And when one comes in heat, there ain't nothing you can do about it. Yeah. But doesn't matter. Worked out great.
Yep. And, Rain did her job. It all worked out the way it was supposed to work out. But like I said, it's when it comes down to it, it's a team win.
It is. And everybody, we get some grief here and there, but everybody's got a team.
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
care if it's your wife or your buddy that helps you hunt through the week, or helps you get dogs ready and don't even go to the hunt or something like that. It's always a team win. So
and that's one thing I do like about our team is, Tom, he always takes care of dogs, make sure if they need a pill or antibiotics that he's on it. Everybody's always hunting.
When we go to sleep at camp, we know before we wake up those dogs are let out, they're fed, they're watered. Big Tom's on it. He's got his sweet tea from McDonald's.
Yeah, that's right.
He's out at the world hunt getting sweet tea at 6 a.m. and the dogs are all fed and everything's good. So
and and the other thing that's really nice is when we all. Not to say this that everybody's like this, but we're not selfish.
No, heavens no.
And there's no jealousy on it. If one person gets on a roll, that person stays with it.
Yep.
And I've been a firm believer. I don't care who's hunting the dog. If you're winning, get after it. Keep going. Don't slow down. And I'm the same. And I've been sick, and with the Urlicky and stuff, and I told you, go ahead and hunt her. I was fine with doing it either way. Because honestly, I feel like sometimes they just click.
Yep.
You're clicking at one point in time with a dog, and there's times, and we went through that with you and Rain.
Yep.
You guys were clicking perfectly. Me and Scent were clicking perfectly, and it all switched, and we switched Scent to you. Yep. She went to winning. Switched Rain to me. She went to winning.
Yeah, the first 2 casts I put Scent in whenever we made that switch. I got in at the Pro Classic at Albany. I got in at the Woodshed, and it's just, you got to take the egos out of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to take the egos out of it and know when to switch.
Yep, and we have no problems doing that.
No,
Sometimes we wait a little too long.
We did.
We're like, we'll just try it one more night, which we should have done it the night before, or we think about it a day late or whatever. But
hindsight's always 20/20 with that stuff. Right. But also, you winning that truck is just like me winning that truck, and people don't understand that. Mm-hmm. I'm
it's
just
a company
happy.
Truck.
Oh yeah, you already told me personalized license plates. Rain 1. We got to get sent a truck next, and then we'll be able to drive 2 of them to the hunts. But, it was a great time. We had a great hunt. Kudos again to Pro Sport, all the guides, judges, everybody that stepped up. Scott made an awesome post on Facebook today thanking everybody. Greg, did you see? I'll have to show you that. Greg got caught on game camera.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Philip Stark,
yeah,
my cousin, Jeremy was guiding out there, not on his property, but pretty close to it. And they got treed on Phil, and Phil he's got a bunch of stuff where he cut some trees and he wants to try to, I don't know what he's kind of a hippie. But he's trying to grow these American chestnuts. I don't know what he's doing, but I would never hunt there. He'd send me pictures of coons, He said, go in there and kill us. I said, no, it's too rough. I said, I ain't hunting there. It's freaking miserable. You're an idiot. But Phil sent me a picture this morning. He said, well, somebody hunted my farm, and there's a big picture of Greg Maynard on a great game camera. I said, yeah, that was the truck hunt this weekend. So Greg's kind of locally famous now.
Yeah.
I said there's a Sasquatch sighting in northern Missouri.
That's right. That's right.
But no, it was fantastic. And so we had a great time. Congratulations on your win, Jed.
Appreciate it.
It's no different than me winning it. I'd have been just as happy.
Oh, I'd have been just as happy if you won.
I know
it
you
too.
would have.
I mean,
know you would have.
that's one thing that I just like to see the dogs win.
And I think people know this because I probably got 10 or 15 text messages today, congratulating me.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything but make the call to let you handle her, And they realize that me and you are a team, and Josh and Justin and all them guys and Big Tom and stuff. And, so when Sammy wins, I win.
Yeah.
When you win, I win.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is, and that's why we like it.
I thank you to everybody that has sent us out a congratulations and everything. It does mean a bunch to us.
Yeah, and that new
and
Ford,
we're really loved at points in times throughout history.
We catch a little grief, but hey, everything's coming on your minus and your own dog and stuff. Everything's right with the world.
Strickland brought out a new side of us.
There you go. And it's hey, you minus and shock.
Karma.
Yeah, Jesus looked down. He's like, hey.
This boy's made a change.
He's finally getting his stuff figured out.
Yeah,
so,
let's give him a little luck this weekend.
That's right. So we didn't touch on any of the old episodes, and just like we usually do on Circle Points, I don't really care. That's great. But like I said, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
We're really happy. We're going to keep it rolling. Joy and Pro Sport are going to be together for a while, so that's going to be good. The PKC youth hunts are coming up.
Yes. Don't forget to get those kids ready, because May 20th we had the Trader Inc. Youth Challenge, and then the next night we got the Missouri State Championship.
Yep.
And then in
Youth
June
Nationals.
we got the Youth Nationals. So I hope everybody's getting their kids ready, and we got a lot of big things coming up.
Jace and Hazel are fired up.
Yeah.
So
in tune.
That's right. Jace likes Hazel like I like rain.
That's right. That's
so
right.
That's good. But we'll shut it off right here. And like I said, Jed, thanks for sitting down. Congratulations on the truck.
Yep. First truck we've won.
It is the first truck we've won. We've been trying.
Yeah.
And we finally got one. So like I said, kudos to everybody involved. And it was a great weekend. So this is The Truth on the Houndsman XP Podcast Network. And we appreciate you for joining us. We appreciate you for listening. Leave us a good rating on iTunes and Spotify and everywhere you get your podcasts. And like I said, thanks again.